So George was born at 39 weeks. He was a planned caesarean section. It was the morning of the 12th of July, and I think we were second on the list. And it was all very straightforward. We were down to theatre, and George was very quickly with us. He appeared really healthy. He was crying loudly. We had the delayed cord clamping, and we had lots of lovely cuddles. And then we moved over to the recovery room, and shortly after, when we'd arrived in the recovery room, we hadn't even named or weighed him then, the midwife who was with us said, "I think he's going blue." So they rushed off, didn't they? Checked him, brought him back. They said, "No, he's okay." And then very, very quickly she just said, "He's going blue." She banged the buzzer, and then the next thing we knew, the doctors and the nurses all filled the room with the Resuscitaire machine and did what they needed to do. And then they just said, actually, it's quite common for babies to need a little bit of help. So they said, "Look, we'll just take him to the special care baby unit. You'll have him back with you soon, I promise. Off you go."
So we were up on the ward, and one of the lovely midwives came up and came to us, and it was probably only 30 minutes, but felt like hours, and just said, "Look, I need you to come downstairs with me. You need to go down and see your baby." So I went down with the midwife, who was absolutely incredible, walked me down, explained to me en route probably what I was going to see and the environment I was going to be going into, and I was met by the consultant, who explained to me that George was working really, really hard. His lungs were not functioning correctly, and that he probably wouldn't be able to carry on working in that condition or the state he was in. Basically said to me that they needed to intubate him and put him to sleep. Clearly not what you want to see when your newborn son is in front of you, but I had the full trust in the team and the equipment. And
we call them the A-team in our house. To them, we're just one of thousands, but to us, they really are everything. And I don't think you quite realise until you're in that situation just how many skills and how much equipment they need to keep a little life alive.
And then it was probably about an hour later, George, who was not named at this point, appeared in front of us on lots of monitoring, intubated, looking really quite poorly.
Very different to the baby that we had in our arms a few hours before. He didn't even look the same. He was completely swollen. I remember saying, can we touch him? They said, of course, but the amount of equipment and wires and the beeping, it was really overwhelming. And then the care that we had then was just fantastic. They helped us holding him with all the wires and transitioning from the tube feeding. They were just such a great support to us, and I think we just need to be so fortunate that we have such a fantastic maternity unit and neonatal unit in our local area. I think it's just, if people could just raise as much money as possible, and I know what a fantastic job the Hampshire Medical Fund do in supporting the hospital.
My name is Jo. I'm one of the clinical midwifery matrons at Hampshire Hospitals Foundation Trust. To enable us to support safe birth, we have to be able to have the right equipment available to us at the right time.
I'm Liz McLeod. I'm a practice development midwife at Hampshire Hospitals, and one of my roles is to help train our midwives, student midwives and support workers in how to resuscitate babies that might need a bit of additional support, and how to use this equipment, which is called a Resuscitaire. And this is what we use to place the baby on to keep it in a warm, dry environment before we start assessing whether we need to do anything else. This is crucial for helping keep the baby nice and warm, so it doesn't then start a spiral into additional things that can go wrong with babies that mean that they get admitted to the neonatal unit.
Currently, all our Resuscitaires are approximately 20 years old and need replacing, but we are at the moment unable to get spares for these, which means in the meantime, until we can afford them, it's getting quite difficult to keep these machines going.
We use this machinery every day, often on each site, probably about 10 times a day, and the vast majority of those babies just need the warm, dry area, and then they go back to their mums straight afterwards. Probably once a day on each site we need to provide a baby with additional care, and it might need some of the additional equipment that's on the machine to be used for them. In the worst case scenario, for babies like George, it can be a matter of life or death. In these situations we need to provide advanced neonatal life support for those babies, and we need all of the equipment to hand in that moment. And we need all of our staff to be able to get in and be able to work on that baby all within the space of a few seconds once that alert's been raised that the baby's in distress. So having more up-to-date equipment just means we can all do that function far more efficiently when a baby really needs us.
The Resuscitaire is a vital piece of equipment for us. It enables us to give that care at the point of birth. So we obviously need them within our maternity units, but we also need them in the neonatal units and our operating theatres within maternity, because they're the places, in our post-natal ward, they're the places where a baby can either become unwell unexpectedly, or for some babies we know we're going to be having to use them straight away. But either way, we need to have the right piece of equipment, the modern piece of equipment, to be able to provide the best care.
As a department, we're so grateful for your support with this project. These machines are completely crucial to us, and we've been astonished by the level of support we've received from Hampshire Medical Fund. Ever so grateful for that, for now and for the future.
We're lucky that our story has a really happy ending. George is nearly 3 now, and he's a very happy, healthy little boy.
You're doing all right, aren't you?
Very grateful.
With the equipment needing replacing and modernising, you know, if anyone can help and support that, I think that is absolutely vital to allow people like George to be here with us now.